So those are the first three tasks. Task number 4 is basically asking us to publish the current project. So we have specific requirements in here in that we're going to publish it into the C staging folder, which basically means that this application will get published as a file system. So we're not asking them to deploy this to the IIS website itself. So the candidate can come in here, right-click on our web application project, and we'll say that we want to publish it. So we'll click on the Publish wizard and let that spool up here as it sits and thinks about it briefly. And again, this is just another one too, and that, as long as the candidate understands how the different publishing features work from within Visual Studio, they'll have the ability to go in and kind of verify that things worked out the way they were supposed to. So because we asked it to, over here in the task, to basically publish the project itself to the C staging folder, we're essentially going to test the candidate's knowledge of the different publishing methods. Knowing that it's going to the folder rather than IIS, they should know that it's a file system publication that we're asking them to achieve. So they'll select file system, and we want them to put it in the C staging folder. So as you can see, that folder already exists. Again, just a part of making things a little bit easier for the candidate, helping to reduce the time it takes to complete these tasks. We've created a lot of the functionality and the necessary pieces are in place for for the candidate to make it a little bit easier. And then we're basically ready to publish, so we can click on the Publish button. Let Visual Studio go ahead and do its thing in the background. You'll see it's going through the process of doing all the necessary builds, so it's creating the bin folders, the images, scripts, etc. And it says our publish has succeeded, so we can go, oh, awesome, it's completed, publish has succeeded. Now let's very quickly, do a validation, a verification on that again. We'll come back into the operating system, we'll go to the C drive, we'll go to the staging folder, and the candidate will have the ability to go, look, there's all of my web application stuff, my bin folders there, my images, script styles, everything is where it's supposed to be. Bingo, so there's my check mark. I have completed task number 4, and I'm happy with that. I'm now ready to move on. So, once they've completed everything, they come back in here, in the Visual Studio environment, make sure that they have, all of the code checked back in. And again, this is something that I actually didn't mention before. If we decide in the end product that we will actually be using source control, there are probably a lot of you thinking, well, what about candidates who have never dealt with source control? What if candidates are familiar with another source control product that doesn't work exactly the same? And those will all be valid, feedback items that we need to take a look at. If it makes sense, we'll continue to use source control. If it doesn't make sense, we won't. If the source control is in here, there will be specific instructions for the candidate indicating, if you've never used source control before, here's basically what it is, here's what we expect you to do, and the only thing different that you have to do is before you accomplish the task, right-click on such and such, choose Checkout for Edit. So the steps will be there to help them, be successful in getting the code files checked out so that they have the opportunity to, go ahead and make the edits and make those edits actually remain and stay put within the code file itself. Because basically what's going to happen is once they have completed all of the tasks that are asked of them in the individual portions and the sections that are here, they'll basically do, everything will be saved, so they do a save all, it's all checked back into source control, and then when they have finished and closed down Visual Studio, click on the End button, we go ahead and ship the virtual machine out to the test engine in the background. At which point, everything will be checked out. The automated build engine in the background will do all the necessary builds, and all of the test cases that are there to do the scoring will have the opportunity to run against those. Is typical of what you expect from the candidates. They want to see a kind of a scoring or at least a result at the end of the exam. They don't want to have to wait a couple of days to find out whether they passed or not. So we'll throw up a little facade. We'll put in some multiple choice questions after the lab portion has been completed, just to give the scoring engine time to complete the necessary scoring and present a result to the candidate by the time they're ready to leave the testing center itself. So it's very important, that these virtual machines, get the save state and get sent back over to where they need to go for all of the scoring that's necessary. So once the user is finished, basically they'll just click on the Close button here to shut down Visual Studio. And if, like we've just demonstrated here, we only did tasks 1 to 4. The candidates are ready to move on to 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then they'll pop open the next set of solution files found in this folder here. Continue to work through those until those have been completed. Again, the same thing for tasks 8 to 10. Once they're finished, time is remaining if they still have time or what have you, and the machine hasn't shut down for them, then they can end their session, which is basically to signal to the system to go ahead and start the scoring in the background, and at which point in time they'll be switched out to a different interface that will show, once again, it could be a few multiple choice questions, maybe it's a survey, we get them the answer. A lot of these things are still kind of up in the air and open to how that will be presented to the candidate in the end. So basically, that is a quick look at what we're terming our proof of concept for the developer audience performance-based testing. And again, looking for active feedback. What's good about this? What's bad about this? Pitfalls that you potentially see. Maybe there's things that we haven't thought of yet. From your perspective, that when you're taking this test environment, what would be great to have? What's missing? What is very important for you in terms of ensuring that this kind of an environment provides a valid test environment, provides a really good scenario for candidates to have a good experience, and so that we can ensure that we're actually validating skills here rather than just knowledge from the multiple choice perspective. So thanks very much for watching the demo. The demo again is designed to solicit feedback from you. We'll spend the remainder of the live meeting session answering questions, getting some of your feedback, and then we'll have opportunities for you to provide more feedback and maybe a survey at the end of this where you've got the opportunity to go ahead and provide more information to us. So thanks very much for watching the demo, and let's get to some of the questions.